All right, Bruchim Aboim, welcome everyone. It's light enough that I can record like this. Although to keep the phone steady is not so easy. Anyway, I made the video about the question of being religious but not spiritual, as opposed to the term that we often hear, spiritual but not religious. So the question is it even possible to not be spiritual? What is spirituality? And I'll tell you something very interesting, and I think I might have spoken about this before on the channel. You can check out some of my old videos. But I work part-time, I have for about 9 years, for the New York State Office of Mental Health as a chaplain. Maybe coming up 10 years that I've been serving there. And also, my wife has been there about half that time as well, about five years or so, 6 years, 6 years. The two of us serving as chaplains in a particular mental hospital, and I used to facilitate what's called spirituality group. The spirituality groups were not necessarily geared to any particular religion, and I just started doing the group, didn't really discuss, didn't really have any guidance. And then after I started to do the group, for a few months, maybe a year, they gave me a booklet with a guide of how to facilitate a spirituality group. And they asked, according to Albany, how do you define spirituality? And the fascinating thing that they said is that the lowest common denominator, or the greatest common denominator, of spirituality is whatever makes your life meaningful. So that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to believe in anything supernatural to be spiritual. I've seen that there are those who claim that to be a human being, instead of speaking of the Homo sapiens, of the human who is wise, who is intelligent, the better binomial nomenclature should have been Homo spiritualis, the spiritual human. And spirituality, according at least to Albany's definition, is meaning. And I pondered that for a while, and my approach to that is as follows. What separates us from the animals? Things that we attribute meaning to. And that's why particularly people who are institutionalized need spirituality, so they don't just become like vegetables. And so, of course, the obvious, according to that definition, I'm not saying that's the only definition of spirituality, but certainly according to that definition of spirituality, every human being is spiritual. And so when it comes to this concept of meaning in life, a little bit uncomfortable, put this cap on, is driving cap, is that spirituality, of course, is connected to religion. Religion makes people's lives meaningful. And things like meditation would also be in there. But then you have other issues. The next level, I would say, are things like music and poetry and literature. And then the next level would even be history and even science and mathematics. They can all be spiritual. So the example that I would give is music and art and drama and film, and all these things are used in religion, but also give people meaning, hobbies and things like that, give people meaning outside of what's usually called religion. But even things like, again, history and science and math can be spiritual in that sense of meaning. And the way I explain it is, for example, does the Cocker Spaniel dog look at the first Cocker Spaniel dog who received the AKC certification the same way, or whatever you want to say? I don't know exactly what it says, the same way we look at George Washington as Americans. And so history, even though of course there's history to religion and so forth, but history is spiritual. I'll tell you, I remember once visiting in Newburgh, General Washington's office, and seeing the desk that he actually used. And that was a feeling that was akin to a religious pilgrimage. It was like, going to Lezhensk or going to the Kleisel. Not exactly the same, but akin to that. It was a special experience, even though Washington is not the Rebbe Melech, Mahavdil, but still he is an archetypical figure who has that psychological meaning behind him that's important to us as human beings. And so to all of these different things, there's such an idea of sacred mathematics, gematria, and so forth, or the Pythagorean cults, or even the 5%ers and all these others. So when we recognize that, we understand that there is spirituality everywhere. Now then the question is, what do you do with it? Because you can do good or evil or nothing. Could be klipas noga. So what do we do with our spirituality? That is the question. And I believe, of course, as a believing Orthodox Jew, that Torah is the best type of spirituality that there is par excellence in the world. Maybe it's not for everybody, but the way my wife says it, she should be well, is that all the other forms of spirituality might be, it might be elementary level or kindergarten level, might be high school level, might be college level, might be master's degree level, might even be PhD level. When you get to that postdoctorate level, that's the Torah. There's nothing else like it in the world. But not everybody, a lot of people will look at something that's on that level and not understand what it really is. But that's why you have to get into it to really appreciate it and understand it. So thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, and we'll see you later.